today, President Trump has called to criminally prosecute Kamala Harris. I'm going to say that again, guys. President Trump has called to criminally prosecute Kamala Harris. The FBI has started investigating the 2016 election. And this is the big one, guys. CIA Director John Ratcliffe has just told us that indictments and prosecutions will be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey. Guys, this is the arrests that are coming soon. This is from the CIA director who says that indictments, prosecutions will be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey in connection with the Trump-Russia collusion narrative conspiracy. This is the CIA director, guys. You don't make statements like this if you aren't intent on moving forward. And if you didn't know what an indictment is, it's a formal accusation that a person has committed a crime, typically issued by a grand jury after reviewing evidence presented by a prosecutor. So when John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, is saying that indictments are coming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey, he's already presented evidence to a grand jury. They've already reviewed it, and they've already said, yes, they have committed a crime, and you are allowed to go after them. Guys, this is as big as it gets. This is where the arrests are finally coming. It starts with the indictments. This is coming from CIA Director John Ratcliffe, not including what President Trump has just stated he wants to criminally prosecute Kamala Harris for using campaign funds, $11 million, to pay off well-known celebrities like Beyonce and others to try to win over votes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. This is as big as it gets. Big bombshell news today. You have the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, saying indictments and prosecutions will be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey. But other big news today, guys, too. People are furious at Mike Johnson and John Thune right now, these so-called rhinos, and it's terrible. Mike Johnson and John Thune plan to convene and adjourn every 4 to 5 days to block Trump from making any recess appointments. This is a political party blocking its own president's nominees and judges from being confirmed, and this is the first in U.S. history. You cannot tell me that something is not going on, guys. When our Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune are blocking Trump's recess appointments. Never been done before, but they're doing it to President Trump, and something is going on. On the flip side, President Trump has done the unthinkable with the trade deal with the EU. That's just been announced by President Trump. 0 tariffs on U.S. goods going into Europe. 15% on EU goods going into the U.S. Trump tariffs have worked. The tariff revenues are amazing. $700 billion a year is what Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, has just said will be coming in. This is new net money, guys, the government has never had before. You take that over 10 years, that is $7 trillion. On top of that, the EU is getting in check because guess what else they announced? The European Union just withheld $1.7 billion from Ukraine over concerns of corruption in Zelensky's government. So now that the United States is not just pouring out money to them, now the European Union is saying the same thing because they're fearful that it is what it is. Corruption in Ukraine, and now they're withholding almost $2 billion. And Marco Rubio's Secretary of State's interview has just gone viral with Laura Trump. We're going to show you the receipt in just a moment, guys. He exposed a secret $50 million shadow agency inside the State Department that tried to silence Americans. Guys, again, your taxpayer dollars being used in the State Department in a shadow agency to silence Americans. Today is a big, big show, guys, and I can't repeat it big enough that the CIA Director John Ratcliffe has just told us that indictments and prosecutions will be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey. This is amazing justice news for Americans. Got a big show for you today, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching. To all of our subscribers and viewers, we could not do it without you. You are awesome. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button so that we can serve you every day with the top news. We got some big news for you today, guys. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Thank you to everybody that has given a super chat donation. I want to give some special love to Miss Elaine Demeen. Show Elaine some love in the chat. Mr. Norby, OG of the channel. B1 Sly One for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Guys, show them some special love in the chat. And also, welcome to the family, Sonia Zarate Navarro. Guys, we got a big show for you today. President Trump has called to criminally prosecute Kamala Harris. The FBI has started the investigation into the 2016 election. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, which you're about to hear from his own voice, has told us that indictments and prosecutions will be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey. If you appreciate all this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Today's a big show, guys. Got a big one for you. Check it out.
Maria, great to be back with you.
And thank you for all of your truth-telling over the years. We will speak with Devin Nunes, who opened this up wide so many years ago. But I want to get your reaction to what we're seeing now with Tulsi Gabbard highlighting the truth here, as you have done so many years ago.
Well, Maria, before the intelligence community assessment that DNI Gabbard was talking about, and before Devin Nunes's report about that intelligence community assessment, before the Mueller investigation, before Crossfire Hurricane, there was this. In the summer of 2016, U.S. intelligence intercepted Russian intelligence talking about a Hillary Clinton plan to falsely accuse Donald Trump of Russia collusion, to vilify him and smear him with what would become known infamously as the Steele dossier. And Maria, this intelligence was so explosive that John Brennan briefed President Obama, Vice President Biden, Jim Clapper, James Comey, the entire national security team, telling them about this Hillary Clinton plan. Again, but think about this, Maria. That was in August of 2016, and yet it wasn't until more than 4 years later, in October of 2020, when I found, after an exhaustive search, John Brennan's handwritten notes and the underlying intelligence behind it, that revealed exactly what happened. So for a 4-year period of time, the truth about the origins of the Russia collusion hoax was hidden from the American people. And unfortunately, Maria, as you recall, those same people were already at that point in time onto their next hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop. This was a month before the 2020 election. And unfortunately, what we saw with Joe Biden's...
Guys, this is the director of the CIA. You don't get no more breaking news than this over what he is about to drop in a moment. And again, guys, I'm bringing you the receipts. Everything is happening right now. This is from the leading report, too, as well, that CIA Director John Ratcliffe has suggested that indictments and potential prosecutions may be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey in connection with the Trump-Russia collusion narrative conspiracy. All this breaking news has dropped this morning. You're about to hear this guy in a speak about it, and this is what I love, is that it's not just about going after people that went after Trump. No, they're exposing that they literally broke the law to try to coup a sitting president. If you appreciate this, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. This is big news. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what we've been waiting for.
Election was another 4 years to be able to continue to bury the truth. And so it's only now, with Donald Trump having been reelected, that through DNI Gabbard, myself, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, all of this intelligence, all of this evidence that's been hidden and buried from the American people is finally coming to light.
Yeah. We just showed a picture of John Brennan's notes, and I want to go back to those because you just referenced them. These are handwritten notes that John Brennan took during that meeting with Obama and the other top lieutenants, where he writes that Russia is aware of the Hillary Clinton plan to tie Donald Trump to a Russia story. And these notes is something that you highlighted many times, that Devin Nunes highlighted many times. Is this what you're saying was hidden, these handwritten notes and the obvious story right then and there in the meeting with President Obama, where John Brennan was writing notes down as far as what he was telling and discussing with that team?
Well, think about it, Maria. During that 4-year period of time, think about the countless interviews that Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Jim Clapper, James Comey, John Brennan gave to the public, and testimony that they gave under oath about how Russia was involved in our election. And not one time, not a single time, did they ever reference what became verified intelligence, a Hillary Clinton plan. Verified, Maria, because in 2020, Hillary Clinton's own campaign manager took the oath under penalty of perjury in the trial of Michael Sussman and was asked about this plan and said, yes, there was a plan, and Hillary Clinton personally approved it. So all they did was talk about the fake Steele dossier.
Guys, and I told you, I bring you the receipts, everybody. Look at this. The FBI, this is from the Conservative Brief. The FBI has started investigating the 2016 election. This is what the Russians were planning to do with Hillary, guys. The Russians were convinced that Hillary Clinton could win the 2016 election and had prepared a treasure trove of blackmail material they intended to use to obtain concessions and her silence. The only 2016 Russia election interference was meant to sow division and turmoil in the U.S., not favor Donald Trump. Guys, all this stuff you are hearing from the CIA director that Obama and all of them were literally working with and planning against Trump with all of this collusion, all of this fake information. And none of the left-wing media is covering it. Guys, we haven't even seen the mainstream media cover what we're showing you right now. All this is breaking today because, again, the CIA director has officially come out. Indictments for James Comey, John Brennan, and Hillary Clinton. This is big, big stuff. Remember, indictments can only happen if you've already presented evidence to a grand jury. They have said, okay, yes, this person committed a crime. You can now go after them. So this is massive what you're hearing, guys, in this big breaking news today.
But never talked about the true intelligence, the true origins of the Russia collusion hoax was that this was a Hillary Clinton campaign scheme. Yeah. Really incredible. And, Devin Nunes, your next guest, truly an American hero trying to bring these things to light. And again, now we have the opportunity to do exactly that.
Yeah, he sure is a hero, and so are you, Director. Look, our audience knows this, thanks to you and thanks to Devin Nunes. Our audience is well aware of what took place here, but we want to see accountability. Many of the statute of limitations have expired. It's been almost 10 years for many of these folks who did this. But John Brennan testified to Congress, and so did Hillary Clinton, within 5 years. I think it was in 2020, right, and then again in 2021. Are those statute of limitations still live? Tell me if, in fact, we could see a criminal prosecution here, as you just the other day, 3 weeks ago, have in fact referred criminal referrals to the DOJ.
Well, Maria, so part of what came out last week was about how John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, they all pushed the known fake Steele dossier into intelligence community assessments and as the basis for Crossfire Hurricane and all that. But what hasn't come out yet, and what's going to come out, is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia claims, by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex.
Let's go.
What that reflects. And so,
this is big stuff, guys. Again, I told you, they're not messing around right now. President Trump is demanding that Kamala Harris be prosecuted. Guys, This is some big stuff that's coming out. Not only that, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, just did an interview, and he exposed a secret $50 million shadow agency inside the State Department that tried to silence Americans. Guys, this is what we're exposing. This is the crap that's been trying to shut down voices like ours, like conservative voices that believe in free speech across the United States to try to fill a narrative. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is real. All this stuff that's coming out, the indictments, everything, we're showing it to you guys. We're beating mainstream on all of this that is now coming out with what CIA director has said. I want to give some special love to Mr. Norby for the super chat. Say, get on board the winner's train. We're taking the swamp out of the Trump train, is pushing the rooter, and the tidy bowl man is right behind flushing. Let's go. He said, taking it to the corrupted swamp is what I'd like to see, but let us put them all under indictment and see who is the best stool pigeons. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat, as well as B1 Sly One for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Show Pamela Connolly some love in the chat, who said, happy Sunday, TrueLife News. I hope someone gets thrown in jail. Seems like we've been waiting forever. Much love from Montana. Show some love to Thomas Brewer, who said Trump has the entire bunch of Democrats so confused they don't know whether to or go blind. Bless their little hearts. The Southern meaning. I got you, brother. And Kent, thank you so much for the super chat. Boon or bust. Show some love for Boon or bust. I love the GIF in the chat, guys. This is a big day with what you're about to hear next. Guys, this is a day where this bombshell news, you don't get bigger than this. When we have it that Trump and his team have not only called out Kamala Harris, you have the CIA director who right now, John Ratcliffe, has suggested that indictments and potential prosecutions may be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey in connection with the Trump-Russia collusion narrative conspiracy. You are hearing from him right now, guys. And not only that, we're bringing to you in a moment what Mike Davis and the rest of the team are saying, because this is moving very fast, guys. Indictments mean, if you didn't know, indictments mean a prosecutor has already gone to a grand jury. That grand jury has already seen evidence, and they have given the approval for you to go and prosecute somebody criminally for a felony. You just heard this, guys. This is massive. Listen to this.
He does have a strike force. It is a different Department of Justice, a different FBI, and an opportunity to look at how these people really did conspire to run a hoax, a fraud on the American people and against Donald Trump's presidency. And so coming forward, we understand that they did this, but now we need to understand how they did this. And I think that's why you see the left losing their minds over this, Maria, saying, why are you spending time? This is vindictive. You're going back. This is Donald Trump, seeking retribution. It's not. Donald Trump's election by the American people was a statement, Maria. They said to everyone, we know what you did to Donald Trump, and we reelected him because we know this was all fake. We know it was a hoax. Now we want to understand how you did it so that it can't happen again. And that's what this declassification process that we're undergoing right now, what's going on, why it's so important, and why there can be accountability and preventability to prevent these same people that did it in 2016 with the Steele dossier, with the Hunter Biden laptop in 2020, from doing it again in the future.
So what I think I hear you saying is there is...
And remember, guys, they're going after everybody. Don't just think it's about the Democrats, because I show you everything. I don't hold back from anybody. I don't care if they're Republicans. I'm America first. I am MAGA. If you're like me, show it in the chat. Say, I'm MAGA. I'm America first. Because even this stuff is happening right now. Mike Johnson and John Thune plan to convene and adjourn every 4 to 5 days to block Trump from making any recess appointments. This is the political party blocking its own president's nominees and judges from being confirmed. This is the first in U.S. history. The House is currently on recess for 41 days. The Senate is about to begin a 30-day recess, and they're going to be convening and adjourning every 4 to 5 days to block Trump from making any recess appointments. Don't tell me these guys ain't dang rhinos, guys. We're exposing everybody. The investigations are going after everybody, and we are going to expose the fraud. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is a big, big show today, guys. Never have we exposed so much corruption.
Still an opportunity for indictments, potential prosecutions, accountability from those people who may have lied under oath, like John Brennan, James Comey, and perhaps Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's why I've made the referrals that I have. DNI Gabbard has made referrals, and why we're going to continue to share the intelligence that would support the ability of our Department of Justice to make fair and just, bring fair and just claims against those who have perpetrated this hoax against the American people and this stain on our country.
Director, one other question on this. Tulsi, as well as President Trump, used the word treason. Is there a statute of limitations on treason?
Well, Maria, what I would say is this, is there is no doubt in my mind that the people that we just talked about conspired. They conspired against President Trump. They conspired against the American people. And so I'll leave it to Pam Bondi and our Department of Justice, Kash Patel, and our FBI to investigate the conspiracy to do what and what charges that they're capable of bringing. But again, I don't think statute of limitations are going to impact, because in the conspiracy, Maria, the statute of limitation doesn't start to run until the last act in furtherance of that conspiracy. And Maria, part of why this is so important is the people behind this are still furthering the conspiracy. They're refusing to admit or acknowledge what they did in 2016 and what they did in 2020 was wrong. And so, so I think that's why this is so important, and why I'm excited about what the American people will see very shortly, and what's to continue to come.
We'll wait for that John Durham report and the annexed classified declassification and release of that in this week or in the upcoming week. But real quick before you go, Director, not only did the Russia collusion lie destroy people's lives, rip the country apart, but it also diverted energy and resources away from the real threats. So you have people like Adam Schiff, who is now a senator, completely ignoring the fact that Americans were relying on China for their critical elements that we need. For example, today, we rely on 90% of our prescription drugs for China. They're made in China. And so all of this was
100%.
going on, and they were yelling, Russia, 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 and in fact, not even focusing on the actual threats. That, in my view, is a dereliction of duty.
Complete 100%, Maria, completely agree. And don't limit it to China. So the mess that we just cleaned up, the Trump administration cleaned up with regard to Iran and its pursuit of a nuclear weapon, what's happening in Ukraine with Russia that we've inherited, and of course, our greatest geopolitical threat, China. All of these people helped build China. They helped create the threat that China is, that Russia is, that Iran is, because they put politics in front of national security. All of these people are responsible for the threats that we're facing as a country right now. But the good news is, Maria, the good guys are in charge. And as Donald Trump is very clearly showing, we are fully capable of undoing the damage that they've done and addressing the threats to America by using law enforcement and the intelligence community the way it's supposed to be, to protect the American people, not to go after political opponents with fake, fraudulent schemes to maintain power.
Really.
So much is going on, guys. I told you, the European Union just withheld $1.7 billion from Ukraine over concerns of corruption in the Zelensky government. You can't make this crap up, guys. I'm sorry, but this is just insane that they wanted us to fork over so much money, billions of dollars, but yet whenever they had to actually pay the bill, now they're saying, no, Ukraine is corrupt. I'm telling you, President Trump is demanding that Kamala Harris be prosecuted. EU is finally holding Ukraine accountable. You've got Marco Rubio, who's just said he exposed a secret $50 million shadow agency inside the State Department that tried to silence Americans. All this stuff, guys, we would not know anything if it wasn't for our president being president. We wouldn't know a dang thing. And now you're about to hear more, guys, because again, Just because it's the weekends or doesn't matter, federal judges are still making actions. The Supreme Court is still making actions, and you're about to hear it. I want to give some special love to Mr. Norby for the super chat. Let's go, brother. Thank you so much. He said, this is the winner circle, y'all. Hop on board the train full of winners. I love it. Show T Heavy Guy some love in the chat. Said, praise God, the glory is his and his alone. Also for gifting 10 True Life News memberships. If you got a free membership from T Heavy Guy, show him some love in the chat, as well as Barry Myers. And again, Mr. Norby, guys, y'all are so amazing in your giving. Remember, when you give a super chat or you're a member, this money goes to a local charity on the 22nd of every single month. We donate live on charity, and we show you guys this channel is more than just bringing the truth. We are changing lives for good. But what you're about to hear next, guys, again, bombshell news from the people on the inside. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Mike Davis joins us, Mike, by phone, in another huge win for the Justice Department. One of the things people, and this is why you either get a special counsel or you take a U.S. attorney and put it on this, because Todd doesn't have the time to do this. I mean, he's a deputy attorney general. The whole building reports to him. And Pam and the team are, quite frankly, overwhelmed with, I don't know, 175, 200 lawsuits on President Trump's Article 2 powers, but another massive victory today, sir, in court.
Yeah, another massive victory. A D.C. district court judge sided with the Trump administration, with President Trump and his team, on the continued dismantling of USAID, this grifts that the D.C. Uniparty has. It's basically the D.C. elites, party planners. They sell it to the American people, USAID to the American people, like they're curing malaria in Africa. And really, it's a money laundering operation for the Democrat and really the uniparty elite in D.C. So what Judge Carl Nichols said was that what we've been saying on your show for a long time with you and me and Julie Kelly and many others, that the proper recourse for people who were fired from the federal government is to go to the Merit Systems Protection Board. The proper recourse for contractors who were fired from the federal government is to go to the Court of Federal Claims. The USAID was created by executive order. There are parts of it that have been funded by statute, but this judge today correctly ruled that the president has the Article 2 power to keep dismantling these agencies down to the statutory minimum. And the recourse for people who are harmed is not running to an activist judge in D.C. or another place and getting a temporary restraining order and a nationwide injunction and all the other illegal acts, this judicial sabotage that we've been seeing against President Trump over the last 6 months. I would say this, that you're starting to see these courts understand because of the President Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi's monumental wins at the Supreme Court of the United States, that the president has the executive power, all executive power under Article 2, and these are huge wins for the president.
Two
Guys,
things.
and again, huge win from a federal district judge in Washington, D.C. over Trump just completely dismantling the deep state. And again, I'm showing you the receipts, guys. This is from Remarks. We're pulling in all the biggest news outlets. President Trump calls to criminally prosecute Kamala Harris. Why? Because of this right here. President Trump says Democrats paid Beyonce $11 million to illegally endorse Kamala Harris. This is massive, guys. Trump said, and look at the big words, you are in capitalization. Towards the bottom, you are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break loose. All hell would break out. Kamala and all those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Guys, this is massive. Now that we definitively know that Kamala Harris, they paid people to endorse them who wouldn't have done it otherwise, this is now a felony, guys. This is as big as it gets. This is why I told you the CIA Director Ratcliffe is coming out with indictments, not only for something like what Kamala Harris has done, but for Hillary Clinton, for John Brennan, and James Comey. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is massive, guys, what we are showing you, and I'm so thankful because I'm ready to see somebody be arrested. This is big news, and if you don't know, I know we've been repeating it, guys, but if you don't know what an indictment is, it's whenever a prosecutor has gone to a grand jury, presented evidence, and then that grand jury said, okay, you're allowed to go and criminally prosecute them. That's where CIA Director Ratcliffe just said we're at, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I just want to make sure I'm thinking about this the right way and the audience can get the information. Do you think some of these wins we've had the Supreme Court now, even these radical judges down at the district level saying, hey, I'm just going to get it overturned, it'll just be more embarrassing. So I'll just do it myself. And that's why we're starting to get these wins in the district court that have kind of picked up over the last 72 hours?
Yes. I mean, you're still going to have some of these radical activist judges who are, taking their cyanide pills in the bunker. But I think that the message is being sent and received throughout most of the federal judiciary that the judicial sabotage must end.
Mike, also, you've taught us, you got us up to speed on the Article 2 powers of the president. This comes from, he's got three broad: chief executive, commander-in-chief, and chief magistrate, chief law enforcement officer. In the bucket or in the segment that is the vertical that is chief executive officer, he's starting to win now on, he's got the ability to fire these people, alphabet agencies, all that, take it down to statutory minimums. What about the other power of actually impounding the money? In other words, what it was up until Nixon got in trouble in 71, 72.
Yeah, I mean, that
the president could, is this sending us a signal that they're prepared to back us on the impoundment of Trump can actually make a decision on not spending the money and start to cut the deficits that way, sir?
I think that's a tougher fight, but I think that Mark Paoletta, who's the general counsel at the Office of Management and Budget, a good friend of all of ours, has been making this argument for many years that when the Congress has the power of the purse, certainly, right? They have the power to appropriate, but the president has a separate constitutional duty to take care that our laws are faithfully executed under Article 2 of the Constitution. And so, for example, if Congress appropriates $2 billion to what it thinks is going to Gaza humanitarian relief, and the president of the United States finds out that it's going to be spent on Hamas terrorists who are killing Americans, the president has a constitutional duty under Article 2 to stop that. If Congress appropriates $2 billion and it's going to go to waste, fraud, and abuse, the president has a separate constitutional duty under the Take Care Clause to make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's where the president is certainly on firm footing when it comes to impoundment, when it comes to national security and waste, fraud, and abuse.
Guys, and again, too, right now what you're hearing is Trump is taking a lot of executive action because of this right here. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us, guys. When you support us, share our videos, like our videos, we're here to bring you all the receipts, all the news of what's going on. Mike Johnson, and this is so bad, guys. Mike Johnson and John Thune plan to convene and adjourn every 4 to 5 days to block Trump from making any recess appointments. This is a political party blocking its own president's nominees and judges from being confirmed. This is the first in U.S. history. President Trump asked Senator Majority Leader John Thune not to go into recess because they're taking a 30-day recess, but to stay back and confirm all of his judges. They have elected not to. The House is currently on a recess for 41 days. And now we're witnessing that these DC rhinos are trying to block President Trump's judges and nominees. Guys, you don't get no more plain than this. I don't care what you think about Mike Johnson or John Thune. Actions speak louder than words. So when I show you what's actually going on, this is Trump has explicitly asked John Thune, don't go to recess. I need my judges in place. Can you please do something about this? They still decide to go to recess. That's not Team MAGA. That's not Team America First. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don Sturgis, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, what people don't realize is Trump's secret weapon is Judge Shapiro in D.C. Every indictment will be filed in her court. You are correct, Mr. Sturgis. DEI is dead and I am in heaven. Keep up the good work spreading the truth. 100%. You know why? Because Judge Jeanine Pirro is the actual highest prosecutor and district judge in D.C. now. I love this. Great point out. Y'all show Don Sturgis some love in the chat because, again, too, we are stepping into a new realm of accountability. We've all been wanting this. We've all been wanting the arrest coming. We've all been wanting the indictments coming. And finally, we're starting to get some traction.
You're very close to, and so I'm not asking about the content of things, but you're very close to the team at DOJ, and they have two big things in front of them. Clearly, this Epstein situation, and also the treasonous conspiracy. Just given the manpower, given how few people they've actually gotten in over there, given the fact that the confirmations have been slow walked, and we now know it looks like Thune and Johnson are not going to go out to give the possibility to do recess appointments, right? What is your sense on both Epstein and the treasonous conspiracy about actually, this one's a big one of those late afternoon summer thunderstorms. Mike Davis, so first on the capacity, do you think it's time now to either bring in one of these U.S. attorneys from one of the districts, they get a special counsel? I mean, Mark Levin made a good point yesterday. Say, look, if you take a special counsel, it's going to take forever to get them up to speed. Use somebody inside the U.S. attorneys, one of the local U.S. attorneys, or do something to expedite. He's talking about the treasonous conspiracy. I think both of them, they ought to be merged together. But if Todd Blanche is sitting there for 2 days, and Todd, if Todd's taking 2 days and being deputy attorney general to talk to Maxwell, and they're talking about 100 names, there's going to be a little bit of investigation. It's going to be a time sink. What's your just recommendation for management of manpower?
I think Todd and Pam are, they have a good team at the Justice Department. John Sowers over there, the guy who won the presidential immunity decision for President Trump. You have Harmeet Dillon and the Civil Rights Division who can help with any conspiracy against rights investigation on Crossfire Hurricane. You have U.S. attorneys, nominees going through the process. You can appoint U.S. attorneys on a 120-day appointment immediately, and then you can essentially reappoint them for another 210 days if you have to, like we saw with Alina Habba in New Jersey. So here's the problem with special counsel. It takes too long to get them up and running. You can't have a special counsel down in the Southern District of Florida because Judge Cannon ruled that was unconstitutional during Jack Smith's investigation. And if you just have good management, good leadership like Todd Blanche provides, he can manage this. And I'm not concerned about having.
Well, you'd have to get him. You'd have to get somebody who's confirmed, like Emil Bovey, but he's going to be a judge. But you have to get somebody who's confirmed to be a special counsel now, given the fight that you and Boris and Todd and everybody had down in South Florida. It's now, I think it's considered, if you're going to name a special counsel, it has to be confirmed by the Senate, sir?
Well, at least in the Southern District of Florida, because Canada's opinion is binding there. It's persuasive everywhere else. But look, I don't think they can run this, any of these investigations through a U.S. attorney's office. And Todd is the deputy attorney general. Todd Blanche is as the deputy attorney general, and Harmeet Dillon is the head of civil rights, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino over at the FBI can give this U.S. attorney's office whatever resources they need.
We're going to get flights on here in a minute about the treasonous conspiracy. Let me go back,
guys. And again, I show you all the facts, guys, because to me this is what matters. It's about knowing what has gone on, what has transpired, and what is taking place. During Obama's first term, he was able to confirm 206 of his high-level and cabinet nominees in the first 6 months. President Trump, even with a Republican Senate, guys, has had 21 of his nominees confirmed, compared to Obama's first term with 206. I feel like there's just this internal fight happening between Thune, between Johnson and Trump, that nobody's wanting to say anything. But when you have this group of just rhinos that are taking a 41-day recess in the House and a 30-day recess in the Senate. They're literally going to come and convene and adjourn every 4 to 5 days to block Trump from making any recess appointments. I don't trust them, guys. Time to clean house. I'm sick and tired of seeing so many people that are in Congress or the Senate not push forward and help Trump out, not do what needs to be done. All they're dang doing is holding up the process. They're not putting America first. They continue to show themselves, and I don't care what anybody else says. This is the reality of what's going on. And what I'm about to show you next, guys, too. It's not just Senator John Thune, and it's not just Mike Johnson. We've got more details over what's going on with the Treasury Secretary, Jerome Powell, interest rates, what's going on with the investigation into him. Because this is serious stuff, guys. This is criminal stuff that we're showing you. And I do want to give some special love, guys, to Boone or Bust, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Guys, show some love to them. T Heavy Guy for gifting 10 True Life News memberships. Show them some love in the chat. Check this out.
Head at the president over what Donald Trump is saying about the math, the arithmetic of the construction costs, which have gone way over. We will get to that. We looked into it. The Fed building in Washington is being renovated right now, and maybe you've redone a kitchen or a bathroom at some point, and you know it can be a long, expensive, arduous, drawn-out process. But how about this? The renovation of the Federal Reserve building in Washington is costing taxpayers over $2 billion. One estimate has that number closer to $3 billion, like they're wallpapering their cubicles with $100 bills. And it's already $700 million over budget, meaning not only does Powell refuse to lower interest rates to make America less expensive for Americans, but he also has no idea how to manage a budget, which is a pretty important job for a guy managing the Federal Reserve. Why are we the only ones pointing this out? $700 million over budget. Imagine that. If you've ever redone something at your house, all of a sudden you've been there, you're $700 over budget, you're $7,000 over budget, maybe you're $7 million over budget. Jerome Powell is $700 million taxpayer dollars over budget right now. Skyscrapers cost less money. NFL stadiums cost less money. The Freedom Tower in New York City cost $2 billion to construct. But redoing the bathrooms at the Fed building on the National Mall somehow costs over $2 billion. The buildings...
Guys, this is what makes me so mad, guys, because I love accountability. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what makes me so mad, is that you have bureaucrats in these elected positions that go and spend your hard-earned tax dollars like it's nothing. They give all their friends these huge big old contract bills. They pay it, the taxpayer pays it, nobody says anything about it till Trump. While Trump is over here making us money, President Trump has announced trade deal with European Union, placing 0% tariffs on the US goods and 15% on EU goods, which Howard Lutnick, our Secretary of Commerce, has come out and said the tariff revenues are amazing. $700 billion a year. I have never seen any other dang president in the past 30 years come out and say, oh yeah, we're going to actually make, instead of taxing the American citizen, we're going to go out and make an additional $750 billion a year. And we're going to give it back to the Americans. We told you about it, the tariff rebate checks, the tariff stimmy checks. No, you've got people like what you're seeing, Jerome Powell going and spending $2 billion to renovate some stupid bathrooms. They literally spent that much money to build the Freedom Tower in New York. But yet, this is why we have to drain the swamp. He won't lower interest rates. Politically, does not align with Trump, which again, you have your dang opinion. You can politically align with whoever, but don't hurt the American people to spite Trump. And don't spend $700 million over budget to renovate bathrooms so that you can have a nice place to do your business. Trump is over here making us $700 billion a year in new money. This right here, the Democrats said would not happen, guys. And look, it's happened. 0% tariffs on U.S. goods and 15% on EU goods. Give me a break, Democrats. You have no credibility. The unelected bureaucrats will be fired because, guys, we're just showing you the beginning. I'm sick and tired of seeing hard-working Americans' money being wasted because there's no dang accountability when you got a real businessman like Trump who comes out, who knows how to make money because he's done it his entire life, come in and show these dang bureaucrats how to actually run an economy.
There, they're renovating it. It's already there. And Jerome Powell's going to disagree with Donald Trump on the math when he's $700 million over budget. No wonder nobody likes this guy. Take a look at it again. Look at the smugness here from a guy who is $700 million over budget, triple the money that we've sent to Ukraine. Take a look.
We're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2.
Jerome, nobody at the Fed is going to tell you that. You got to ask the contractor, the other guy wearing a hard hat who's off camera. Jerome Powell's been in Washington for a long, long time. He's also a guy who is refusing to lower interest rates. It's so expensive to get a mortgage right now. Interest rates still out of control. After he went on a rate-lowering spree just before the election to help Kamala win the election. It didn't work. He lowered them last summer at this time. Then he lowered them in September.
Right
but
before
now
the
he
election.
suddenly refuses to do it.
like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So.
President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. But other than that, what can I tell you?
He almost knocked him over with that pat on the back right there. I'd love him to lower interest rates. Powell also insists that he's going to finish out the remainder of his term. That ends next May, so a year away. And the Fed chair can't be legally fired without cause. But to us, on this show, Finnerty, being $700 million over budget rises to the level of cause. We'll see. But Donald Trump knows more about construction than probably any other president, maybe Thomas Jefferson, probably any president in history. And he did not like what he saw yesterday during this little tour. Take a look.
Not so long ago, we rebuilt the old post office into the Trump Hotel, and we sold it to Waldorf Astoria. And it was a great success. And I spent $200 million building it. And it was taken down to the steel, for the most part, taken down. You know, you've seen it go up. And I built it quickly, and I built it for $200 million. A much bigger job than this. I spent $200 million, and it's got marble bathrooms, the top fixtures, the best of everything, all brand new. So, you know, this is a very expensive job.
Guys, again, like this new trade deal that has come out, European Commission, look at this. Real Donald Trump and European Commission President von der Leyen struck a deal today setting a flat 15% tariff on cars and more. Europe will buy $150 billion in U.S. energy and pump another $600 billion into U.S. investments under the deal. Tell me, guys, is Trump not the deal maker? If you believe it, put it in the chat, guys. Trump, the deal maker. If you appreciate him, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is just so massive. Not only China, not only the EU, Japan. Guys, all these big places, this is just so big. While on the other hand, you've got Thune and Johnson who decided to take an extended vacation to do nothing. Gene Kopich, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Gene Kopich some love in the chat, guys. It is just mind-blowing that whenever we show you all this stuff that's happening, like, when are we going to get accountability? Because, again, the people that are on, this is what I'm about to show you, the people that are in Trump's cabinet are the ones who are actually doing something. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this is massive. Check this out.
of State, you really have made some big changes here. You kind of pared things back at the State Department. You've restructured some things here, and you actually say that this was long overdue. So tell me about the changes you've made and why you felt like they were so important.
Well, the important thing to know is that we reorganized the boxes, in our org chart in terms of how the State Department functions. This wasn't an effort to go in and get rid of people. It was an effort to reorganize. And now, if you get rid of a bureau you're not going to use anymore, obviously you don't need those positions anymore. And it was very small. I mean, it was 1,300 people out of 70 or 50 or 60,000. I read these reports about how we've gutted American diplomacy. It's really silly. But here's the fundamental nature of it. It took too long to get things done. We had too many bureaus, too many offices. They were unaligned with each other. I get these decision memos. And these decision memos have to be cleared by these different desks, these different offices. Some of them had 30 or 40 boxes. 30 or 40 people had to clear it before it even got to me. And that's why it takes the State Department so long to function. So what we're changing on that is, people can certainly give their opinion. If they don't agree with the decision or they have concerns about it, that can be noted. But ultimately, I need to get that decision memo to my desk so we can take action. We can't wait 6 weeks, 6 months to do things. It renders us irrelevant, especially in a world that moves so fast.
Let me ask you about Russia. The president gave Russia 50 days to strike a peace deal or face possibly 100% tariffs. Where do you think Putin is on this? Do you think this is an effective strategy, and what do you expect to see happen?
First of all, I think everybody should be very happy that the American president, the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is focused on peace. There's nothing he wants more than to be a part of peace agreements, stopping wars, preventing wars, ending wars. It's not his war. He didn't start this war. It didn't happen. It never would have happened had he been president, but it did. He inherits it, and he's done everything possible to bring it to an end. I think he's growing increasingly frustrated that despite having very good interactions with Vladimir Putin and phone calls, it never leads to anything. So the time has come for some action here, and I think the president has made that abundantly clear. He's losing his patience. He's losing his willingness to continue to wait for the Russian side to do something here to bring an end to this war that wasn't his war, but he wants to see it come to an end. Since January of this year, over 100,000 Russian soldiers, just on the Russian side, have been killed. It's a bloody conflict with a lot of death and destruction. A lot of this engagement has been really about playing for time and sort of delay tactics to make it look like they're interested in peace, but not really serious about it. He's not going to fall into that trap of being, pulled into endless talks about talks. And I think
And guys, I just have to show you this because, again, too, this guy is such a pit bull right now. Welcome to the family, Viv. Y'all show Viv some love in the chat. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and what you're about to hear in a moment, he exposes a secret $50 million shadow agency inside the State Department that tried to silence Americans. Like, guys, you can't make this crap up. It's real. They were trying to cut out conservative voices. Marco Rubio has gone in and he's been in charge of so many dang things and uncovered so much when it comes to Russia, when it comes to the internal deep state, even this right here, that the Russians actually wanted Hillary Clinton to win because they were going to blackmail her because they have so much dirt on her. Guys, this is right here. The Russians were convinced Hillary Clinton would win for the 2016 election and had prepared a treasure trove of blackmail material they intended to use to obtain concessions and her silence. Like, how insane is that, guys? All this stuff is breaking out. You're seeing it here, guys, on TrueLife News. Just, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, we want to make sure that you see everything across the board.
Picks up a lot of that from his just understanding of human nature and human behavior, having dealt with, some of the most cutthroat people in business for 40, 50 years.
The negotiator in chief.
Yeah, he enjoys that part of the job, by the way. He does. He enjoys that part of the job. And I think it's very useful for us because ultimately we know we have the ultimate closer in the administration with our president. And our job is to put these deals together, bring him usually to the 95% range of agreement, and then he comes in at the end and closes it. And whether that's on trade or hopefully on peace, that's the role he's played in. It's a very powerful role. That last 5%, those last few yards are always the hardest one in any negotiation.
Well, so many people talk about the fact that China is conspiring with Russia and Iran. How does the U.S. deal with that and a potential alliance between those three?
Everybody knows, it's not a secret, that China is giving Russia as much aid as they can get away with without being discovered. The Europeans have caught on to this. There's no way that Putin could have sustained this war without Chinese support, particularly buying his oil. And I think the Chinese have an incentive to see this war go on. They think that the longer this war goes on, it'll distract us and prevent us from focusing on other parts of the world that they're interested in.
And guys, again, I told you, I bring you the receipts. When people start figuring stuff out, that's when you know the jig is up. Look at this. The European Union just withheld $1.7 billion from Ukraine over concerns of corruption in Zelensky's government. Zelensky's glow among Europe may be dimming, per the New York Times. Guys, I'm telling you, if the gravy train is being just run out. If you appreciate this, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because again, I don't want to give money to a forever war. I don't want to be filling some deep state elitist pockets. I want our money going back to Americans. Dina P, member of the channel, let's go. Thank you so much for the super chat. Show Dina some love in the chat, as well as Shelly Bergman, member of the channel, for the super chat. I love it. Thank y'all so much for your support. Such big givers, guys. I love it. I'm a big giver, and I love that this channel is literally exemplifying that as well, and we are changing lives.
The Chinese also buy a lot of their sanctioned oil and have provided them some defense articles in the past. I think everyone, China, Russia, others, even North Korea, have become a little bit more cautious about supporting Iran, especially after our B-2s flew halfway around the world and conducted an operation and left before anyone found out about it. So I think that what's happened now is a lot of these countries are being, in the middle of that war, when Iran turned to Russia, turned to China, turned to some of their proxies, they all kind of took a pass and said, we don't want to get involved in this thing. It sort of reminded the world that we have a strong president and the most extraordinary military capabilities in the world. No one has the things we have in our defense, whether it's our airplanes, our missiles, our bombs that we use, and our guided munitions. A lot of people have forgotten that. President Trump reminded him.
You also recently met with the Chinese foreign minister. Do you feel like there are still areas where we could see cooperation between the U.S. and China? And what came out of that meeting overall?
Yeah, look, the United States and China are the two most powerful and important countries in the world. So we have to have relations. We have to be able to talk to them. And we have to, if possible, find areas of cooperation. We're going to have some irritants. There's no doubt about it. I think just talking about the trade perspective, just understand, everybody should understand this. For 30 years, the Chinese have basically carried out this economic scheme or operation where they could sell anything they want into the United States. Every Chinese company, unfettered access to the U.S. market, the most important consumer market in the world. But the Chinese market's completely closed. So their market is closed and their companies are protected inside of China, but then they want the right to be able to sell us anything they want and export anything they want. And it's not just been going on for a year or 2 years, it's been going on for 3 decades. President Trump's been talking about this for 20 years. This is not some new thing he discovered the day after he was sworn in. He's been talking about this forever. So all he's saying is, I don't understand it. They get to do whatever they want here. We get to do nothing over there. How is that fair? I'm going to rebalance it. But I think we have to be able to do that and at the same time understand that there are things we have to be able to interact with the Chinese on just to avoid misunderstandings. So we have to have relations with them. We want to have respectful relations with them. And in those areas where we have disagreement, we always have to stand on the American side of the issue.
We used to see hostages kind of used as...
Guys, it's so amazing. I love America First policies. What I love most of all is that when things like this happen, where Trump not playing games anymore, they try to put him in jail and try to make up charges. He's like, look, you did things right in front of everybody's eyes, and you don't think we're going to hold you accountable? Well, guess what? We are. Now President Trump is demanding that Kamala Harris be prosecuted for illegally paying Beyonce $11 million to endorse her, which you're not prohibited. That's prohibited. You're not allowed to pay celebrities to endorse you for votes. And then you got CIA director. Guys, this is as big as it gets when the director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, suggests that indictments and potential prosecutions may be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey in connection with the Trump-Russia collusion narrative conspiracy. This is accountability, guys. finally getting some dang traction on what we've all been waiting for. Lynn Defoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Lynn some love in the chat. She said, hey, Joel, really do love all that you do. We appreciate you, Lynn. Show Lynn some love in the chat. Everything that you're seeing, guys, again, there's just so much happening, but you've got people on the inside that are like what I call true patriots that are not backing down, that are going after these people, just like what you're about to see next. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you appreciate this. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Check this out.
State of Texas. Senator, are we going to actually see people held accountable here?
Look, I hope and pray that we do, and I hope that the Justice Department fully investigates this. What's critical that Tulsi Gabbard made public is not that people put out allegations that Putin wanted Trump to win. It's that they were lying and knew they were lying. That's what's explosive here, is that their repeated testimony to Congress was false. And you go through some of the facts that Tulsi put out. So, August 31st, 2016, a DHS official tells former DNI James Clapper that there was, quote, no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate the actual vote count. That's what they're saying in August of 2016. September 2nd, 2016, the FBI said it was, quote, uncomfortable, implying that there was definitive information that Russia intends to disrupt our elections. September 9th, the intelligence community concluded that, quote, Russia was probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means. September 12th, same thing. December 7th, after the election, here was Clapper's talking points written, quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. December 8th, Obama's presidential daily briefing, here's what it said, quote, we assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. So all the way up to December 8th, over and over and over again, they say, no Russia, no Russia, no Russia. And then December 9th, there's a meeting with DNI Director Clapper, with National Security Advisor Susan Rice, with Secretary of State John Kerry, and with Deputy FBI Director McCabe, in which they reverse their positions altogether, and they all come out to say, Russia, 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 that's why Trump got elected. And I'll tell you, this December 9th meeting, FDR famously said December 7th is a date that will live in infamy. Well, December 9th should be a day that will live in infamy, because this is a moment when senior members of our government decided to lie to the American people and to sabotage President Donald Trump, who'd just been elected by the American people.
In a CNN interview back in 2018, former DNI Chief Clapper admitted something about Obama. Watch.
If it weren't for President Obama, we might not have done the intelligence community assessment that we did, that set off a whole sequence of events which are still unfolding today, notably Special Counsel Mueller's investigation. President Obama is responsible for that, and it was he who tasked us to do that intelligence community assessment in the first place.
No, he wasn't admitting.
Guys, whenever he's like, he tasked us, he told us to do it, so that's why we did it. You can't get away from that. And again, too, guys, the breaking news today, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, indictments and prosecutions may be forthcoming for John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey in connection with the Trump-Russia collusion narrative conspiracy from the CIA Director. And if you don't know what an indictment is, guys, remember, an indictment is whenever you go to a grand jury with evidence that somebody has committed a criminal act. That grand jury reviews the evidence and then says, okay, you're good. You're right. You can now go criminally prosecute that person. That's what CIA Director John Ratcliffe has just said about John Brennan, Hillary Clinton, and James Comey. So we're finally, guys, seeing some traction on this. Lily Ignacio, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. She said, I'm not being biased as I live in Florida. Marco Rubio is the best and excellent appointee made by our president. Marco is doing a fantastic job. 100%. He is kicking butt. Y'all show Lily some love in the chat.
Saying that it was all false, but he said it was Obama. This was after the entire intel community had, as you read, made their assessments, which are always changing. They're always, they're assessments. There never can be definitive conclusions. But the indication was Russia wasn't, according to even what Obama said yesterday. He's still lying.
And they suddenly erased everything they had been saying for months, and they reversed 180
Wasn't
degrees.
Obama's statement yesterday a lie when he said Russia was trying? It didn't indicate that in the intel assessments.
It didn't indicate that. But listen, Barack Obama is profoundly partisan. The people around him, they are hardcore radicals. John Brennan, who ran the CIA. Do you know who he voted for in 1976? He voted for Gus Hall. Gus Hall was the Communist Party nominee to be president because John Brennan said Jimmy Carter, who was running in 76, is not liberal enough for John Brennan. He wanted a communist. And by the way, he's admitted to this. He voted for the communist. He wanted a communist president of the United States. Well, fast forward to Barack Obama, and his wish came true. And understand, these partisans are so contemptuous of the American people. What was the Russia hoax about? It was about subverting democracy. They were mad at the voters that they elected Donald Trump.
They want to punish him.
It's the exact same sentiment that led to the lawfare last year of indicting Donald Trump 4 times. That ultimately was not about their hatred for Trump. It was about their contempt for the voters. They wanted to stop the American people from re-electing President Trump. And that contempt for the voters is manifestly through this willingness to lie to Congress and lie to the American people.
All day long, the predictable suspects were saying, well, this is just an attempt to deflect from Epstein. This is all old news, nothing new here, move right along. You just don't want to talk about the Epstein files. That's what they're saying.
Well, except for the fact that that's objectively wrong. There is a lot new here. Over and over and over again, the Obama intelligence community said Russia is not trying to influence this election, not trying to change the outcome, and by the way, is not trying to elect Donald Trump. That was their big narrative, is Putin wanted Trump. Well, what Tulsi Gabbard just told us is that Putin had dirt. We don't know if it's true or not, but had dirt that you just played about Hillary Clinton having serious emotional and mental problems and being on heavy tranquilizers. And Putin didn't release it. If he wanted Trump to win,
he would have released it.
He presumably would have released it. But yet, magically, facts that are inconvenient to the Democrats' political narrative, they disappear.
Remember, the press today asked if, because of the Supreme Court's decision, John Roberts' decision in the immunity case, could Obama? It was basically implying that Obama has no vulnerability here in an investigation. Briefly describe why that's not accurate 100%.
Look, it is challenging. What the Supreme Court has said in the immunity cases, official decisions are protected by official immunity. So it's clear, for example, Barack Obama ordered a drone strike on Anwar al-Awlaki, an American citizen. He cannot be prosecuted for that because that was an official action. That's what the Supreme Court said. By the way, FDR could not be prosecuted for dropping atom bombs on Japan. Truman could not be prosecuted. There's a whole host of actions. Rather, Truman for dropping atom bombs, FDR for detaining Japanese citizens, internment. The point is, official decisions of the president.
So was December 9th an official decision? That's a hard call.
Look, there would be an argument about it. I'll tell you.
He's not going to be prosecuted for treason. But that's not going to happen.
He's not going to be prosecuted in all likelihood for treason, but where the criminal liability will start is with members of the Obama administration who went under oath before Congress and lied, flat out lied. We know Jim Clapper has lied repeatedly, and that will be the beginning of the investigation. Also fabricating evidence. That investigation needs to play out. This is a very important new trove of information Tulsi Gabbard has released.
Guys, and again, guys, it's Trump is so fed up with all this stuff. Again, President Trump says Democrats paid Beyonce $11 million to illegally endorse Kamala Harris. How is it that Kamala Harris illegally paid celebrities to endorse her? Biden wasn't even president. It was a shadow government. Obama, Russia hoax, like Hillary Clinton, who was Secretary of State back whenever under Obama, but like all the dang top Democrats over the past like 20 years have all been so dang corrupt. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm just like at the point now where I'm just like, we need arrest. You saw it. CIA John Ratcliffe is pushing forward with indictments against Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, and James Comey. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about that. I'm ready to see arrest. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind, hitting the thumbs up like button. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our family. We want to serve you every day with the top news. So much is coming out. And guys, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Me and my family are truly grateful that you support us as we continue to bring you the truth every single day. I want to give some special love to those that are members of the channel, those that give a super chat donation. Remember, our memberships start out at only 99 cents, guys. And the reason is we want to grow the membership. We want 10,000 people as members. And we want to donate tens of thousands of dollars every single month to local charities and change lives. Give God the glory, guys, and make a difference for the good. And I want to thank everybody that is given today supporting us. Remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we donate this money live on stream. And in the past 10 months, we have donated over $42,000 live on stream with your support. I want to give some special love to Mr. Norby, OG of the channel. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. Thank you so much, Sonia Zarate Navarro. Welcome to the family. B1 Sly One for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Pamela Conley, Thomas Brewer, Kent, Boon or Bust. Show Boon or Bust some love in the chat. Jim Arnold, Michelle Eisner, T Heavy Guy. Show T Heavy Guy some love in the chat for gifting 10 True Life News memberships. OG of the channel, Barry Myers, El Prophet, Don Sturgis, Glow. Show Glow some love in the chat. Gene Kopich, OG of the channel. Dina P. Show Dina some love in the chat. Shelly Bergman, Lynn Defoe, Lily Ignacio. Guys, thank y'all so much for your support. Thank you for liking our videos, sharing our videos. We are here to serve you, and we're going to bust our butt every day to do it. Barry Myers, welcome to the family. Show Barry some love in the chat. And this is this is such a blessing, guys, because again, too, we have exposed so much today. So much is coming out, and it's all to put America first. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.